Welcome to another edition of Inside the Industry. I am Soraya Romero, and it is always a pleasure to be with you. Today, we are touching base with someone who is very, very familiar to Caribbean Gospel TV. He has a program called Hope is Rising. It happens every Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. Yep, you already know who I'm speaking about. Let's welcome Pastor Joseph Persaud. Hi, Pastor Persaud. So great to have you.
Yes, thank you, Soraya, for having us today on this wonderful program. And it's good to connect with the viewers who know our face from preaching and seeing us from the stage. Now we're up close and in person to speak to the audience and to the extended television folks.
Yes, excellent. And that is what Inside the Industry is all about, being able to touch base and, have a rapport with persons who we see and persons who we know. So we're so happy to have you. I wanted to just start by asking you a bit more about Hope is Rising, because some persons are quite familiar with the program, but others may be a bit new. So in your own words, how would you describe Hope is Rising to our viewers?
Well, Hope is Rising came out of a movement that we started 7 years ago, when we started going to nations to shift the trajectory of things that have been plaguing certain places. For instance, we went to Guyana 7 years ago when Guyana was being listed as the #1 rated suicide nation in the world by ratio. The way the World Health Organization measures suicide is by how much suicides occur for every 100,000. And Guyana was reporting close to 50 suicides for every 100,000 when the normalized number is 10. So that means Guyana was almost 5 times the number that's supposed to be normalized. So we went into Guyana in 2017, did a few national events to rivet the country and galvanize the churches and the people who are Christians to say, we believe in life. Suicide is a spirit. And getting them to come together and break that spirit. And after 2017, Guyana's suicide declined drastically. So when they were reporting 400 suicides a year, 500 suicides a year, now it's about 40 to 50 per year. So it's a great thing. So we then took that to India and to Africa, to other Caribbean nations, and then when Caribbean Network, Caribbean Television started speaking to me, they said, well, why don't we just name the program Hope is Rising? It has a good connotation. And so that's how you started seeing Hope is Rising coming out. And now, as we're going to discuss about what we're going to do again in Guyana, where it was kind of birthed years ago.
Right. Lovely. That's excellent. And just so us to understand even better, I know that you are also based in New York. Is it that you are originally from Guyana and then you moved over to New York?
Yes, I've been living here in New York over 40 years. Came as a young boy with my parents, and we have a church here. It's now a global movement, Liberty Bible Fellowship. We're seen across the nations, not only in social media, but on television, your network, but we're on multiple television networks across the nation, across the world, by the way. In India, we're in 100 million homes. In East Africa, we're in about 150 million homes. And of course, with the Caribbean, that's several millions too. And thanks to this network for carrying us around the world.
Yes. Really excellent stuff. And just to understand a little better as well, I read one of your previous articles and you were saying that before your event in Guyana, you called persons, hundreds of persons together to pray. to prepare for the event. Give us some insight into what your preparation is like when you're heading into countries. What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, when you head into a country, it has to be baited and has to be covered with prayer.
Yeah.
And these types of things, the enemy is after to make it not successful. As a matter of fact, after the news hit Guyana that I was coming back, people know Hope is Rising from a few years ago, and folks were like, "Oh, it's about time you guys came back because Guyana has certain issues and that type of stuff." It doesn't mean that we're going to cure all the issues, but the fact is, going in prayer for these things is very important. And speaking to leaders, you have to spend time trying to cajole them and speak to them and tell them, we don't have ulterior motives. We just have a pure motive, and we're coming into your land, and we want you to bless and approve what is about to happen. Because if you don't get the folks who are there on the ground, who lead the country, if you don't get them involved or their approval, it's kind of like pulling teeth, and you want that to happen.
Right.
But sometimes God is not asking us to wait on whether they want it, but it's to do the right protocol, to go and ask them, "Can you help us pray?" And before the program is over, I want to share with you what we're going to be doing in prayer for this program. It's going to be a very, very unique prayer, global prayer, that that we're going to galvanize the world. We're galvanizing Caribbean nations, we're galvanizing African nations, we're galvanizing India and around the world nations, plus the length and breadth of Guyana, 10 regions of Guyana, and the churches, to join us in a chain prayer for 24 hours nonstop. So there's going to be prayers outside of Guyana for Guyana. It's going to be prayers inside of Guyana for Guyana. And it's going to be baited with just a powerful time of asking God to intercede for that country, the length, breadth, and width of the country, into every area of the land.
Wow, that's excellent. I'm already so excited. And we're speaking about the event called a call to prayer and worship. It's happening on May 9th, 2025 at 12 a.m. and it's running for 24 hours. Feel free to tell us some more about this event, because I know you already shared some really good insight there about the prayer side. What about the worship side of the event?
Yeah. So we're going to have this prayer going on nonstop chain from midnight on the 9th to midnight that's going to connect to the 10th. And that is Thursday midnight to Friday midnight. And as I said, there are churches who are going to be registering. Sign me up for 9 to 10. Sign me up from 10 to 11. Individuals are going to register. I want to pray as an individual. Pastors are sign up. Leaders, everyone. We're not stopping, or no one's allowed to say you can't pray. Yeah. Everyone is joining in, and an hour may have 10 different places praying. Right. Africa may take that hour, India may take that hour, Trinidad may take that an hour, and then for churches or for regions in Guyana may take the hours. So there are certain hours that are going to be just salivated with prayer, but we're going to have it chained right through in 24 hours. Yeah. And then the worship will start kicking off at a place called the National Cultural Center, which is a very popular spot in Georgetown, and it could hold about 2,000 folks. So wow. It's not the biggest spot compared to what we did. When we did Hope is Rising, it was 20,000 plus people. Ooh, wow. It still holds the record as the largest, I believe, one of the largest gospel event Guyana's ever had. So when we with Hope is Rising now, they're saying, Pastor Joe, can you move the event from National Cultural Center, where there's only 2,000 people, to the stadium where you can have
Mm.
10,000. And I kept saying, it's not about the size. It's not a
Right.
concert. It's a prayer convocation for the nation. And
Mm.
sometimes you lose that grip of the coming together when something becomes so huge, you
Right.
lose intimacy. So we're holding it to that. The seats are limited. 2,000 is just nothing. It's going to be registration is going to start this Friday at Hope is
Okay.
Rising Live, hopeisrising.live, and it's going to be on for about 2 weeks, maybe
Mm.
3. But we're going to shut it down after 2 to 3 weeks. Still going to be weeks before the May 9th event when we shut it down, but we're going to reopen it back. And the reason why we're going to keep it at a specific period for people to register, we don't want to say you can register up until from now up until May 8th. Then a lot of people are going to register the week before. And then
Yeah.
we may find out that we have so much people wanting to come, but and then we don't know how to redirect. When we have a controlled registration, we'll know after 2 weeks, out of the 2,000 seats, we have 1,200 seats, and we only have 800 left. And where do we
Right.
want the 800 to come from? And we're very strategic. We don't want the 800, the 2,000 seats to just be from, like if we were in Trinidad, just from Port of Spain or just from Chaguanas. We want it, and so we don't
Right.
have seats just from Georgetown. Guyana has 10 regions from very several hundreds of miles out to the length and breadth, and we want all 10 regions to be there. So we can
Right.
say this holy convocation of the entire nation represented on this one place. And the worship and live prayers. Prayers are going to be on all the time remotely, but
Mm.
in that place, it's going to get opened up all the time for prayers. But we're really going to have like a DJ starts playing music from about 2 o'clock or 3 in the
Okay.
afternoon, right, for about a few hours. And we're going to, by about 5, we're going to start having some worshipers and prayers. But from about 6 o'clock is prime time, 6 to
Mm.
11. We're going to have the men of God, the women of God, the leaders, the worshipers, the psalmists, and they're going to be given time, 3 minutes, 5 minutes to address the nation. This is going to be probably one of the most televised events Guyana has ever had. So
Mm.
it's going to be nationally televised on national television in Guyana. The Caribbean network that I'm on, I believe they are going to take it live too across wherever your network goes, which will be
Yeah.
across the Caribbean and everything. I have another Caribbean network that's going to also carry it. So we're going to be hitting the Caribbean from different stations. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
be having it live in 100 million homes in India. We're going to try to have it live
Um,
in the several million homes in East Africa, plus YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So it's going to be a very, very media intense, because here's what we want to say. Here's what Hope is Rising is trying to say. Guyana is now known as an oil capital in the Caribbean and in the world. It used to be a very poor country up until 5 years ago, 6 years ago. People would
mhm.
laugh at Guyana, would say it's so poor. But now Guyana has the ability to become the breadbasket of the world. Guyana has
Mm.
the ability to become one of the richest nations in the Caribbean and probably in the world. Over the last 2 years, Guyana has become the fastest rising economy in the entire world.
Mm.
Economies rise by 3 to 5 to 6 to 7% when it's rising fast. Guyana's economy has been rising 30 to 40 to 50% every year for the last
Wow.
3 years. No country is coming close to its economic advancement. So
Yeah.
God spoke about what are we going to do about Guyana. So it's on my heart, as it was on my heart the last time, to help reduce suicide. That Guyana this time needs to project to the world that it's not only an oil producing country, it's not only was known as a suicide country used to be, it not only was known as an HIV back years
Mm.
ago, it used to be that. But now Guyana is on the up and up economically. But Guyana has great men and women of God who are
Yeah.
Christians. It's
Yeah.
still a story to be told to the world. And so, what we want to do that night is to publicize Guyana's Christian faith to the world and
Yeah.
let the leaders say it out of their mouth. Let the
Mm.
people of God hear it and pray together, worship together, and let the world know it. So it's not only Guyana hearing it, but Trinidad's going to hear it, Barbados,
Yeah.
Jamaica, India, Africa. India and Africa is where the roots of of Guyana is from, and I want the roots.
Right.
So we're
Mm.
connecting this all around, and we're already being asked by other countries about, can you do the same for us? Because we need something like that. So
Yeah.
uh, let's first get Guyana to get this done, but there are other nations that God can do the exact thing. And it doesn't have to be Hope is Rising going to do it for those other nations. Maybe there's someone listening to me who's going to be inspired to do this for
Yeah.
their nation. So this is what we want to do. And I believe God is going to be pleased. And that night, I'm asking these leaders to drop their titles. I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking the leaders to drop their portfolios. It's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people you can't, you have to make sure they're called a prophet, prophetess, they're the apostle, they're the chief, bishop. We need to drop those things for one night and come humbly before God and
Yeah.
without pretension, because that's what God is looking for. He says, if my
Mm.
people who are called by my name shall
Yeah.
humble themselves and pray and
Yep.
seek my, then I will hear from heaven. I will
Yep.
deliver their sin to the land. And sometimes a lot of our people are praying for this, but God is saying, are you ready to come down from where you are? And that night,
Right.
I'm asking everyone to come down. Let us all be humble before the cross, equal before the cross. God's going to do something great.
Yeah, and I really appreciated what you just shared. I'm also wondering about persons in government, politicians. Can they also come by and be a part of this event?
Sure. Yeah, we're inviting those who are in government. We're inviting those who are in the opposition. We're inviting those who are in power to come and
Yeah.
see the power of God displayed. Yes, we want them to be there. It's not for them to be the ones that we want them to see the demonstration of God's power. And and
Amen.
and and most of the folks who are leaders of Guyana, whether they're in government or not, believe in God somewhat,
Yeah.
and a force of God will effectually connect with them if they're there that night. And even if they're not
Right.
there, I'm sure by media and television they'll be watching it.
Yes, definitely. That's excellent. I know you said that the registration is going to be open for a very short time. Who would you invite to register? Is this something that you intend to see persons of all ages? Can children also come along? Who can come to this event?
Yeah, that's a good question. Uh, we want people of all races, all ethnicities. We want folks from all areas of Guyana to register. As a matter of fact, there
Mhm.
are folks from Trinidad who said they want to come over. There are some
Mhm.
folks from other countries who want to go. So I would encourage that if there are folks across the Caribbean that want to come and experience this,
Yeah.
to register, or if they're coming through, if they're hearing this program and they want to get through to you guys who are on the station and say, what do I do? Can Pastor Joe know about us? We are from the Bahamas, two of us, or there are three of us from Antigua. There's four of us from Trinidad. There's one of us from Barbados. We want to experience that fire, and we're going to take it back to our country. Here's what I want to say. I encourage you to come, and we will
Excellent.
find, as long as you can register early or get your name to us early, we'll ensure that you can get in.
Yeah.
It will be, of course, the seats are limited, but it's being done so that the power of God could just emanate powerfully on everyone. But folks across the Caribbean could register, but they have to do it early. Folks of all ages can register. Gospel artists, regular members, choir members, a brother or sister who just loves to serve the Lord, a prophet, an apostle, a pastor, a leader of a denomination. What has happened with the church is we stop and say, wait a second, I am who I am. I wonder if it's I wonder if I could, if this denomination is going to be part of it. This is not about denomination. This is about
Right.
breaking down just the barriers of all of that and just
Yeah.
coming clean before God. And so I would encourage people to get themselves in there. And, you know, the more variety of folks we have that we can say that night, there's folks from across the Caribbean who's here. And
Yeah.
they came to catch the fire and take it back to their country. And there's some people
Mm.
here who are going to take it to their country and do the same thing or effectuate some of that. Or they may want to start discussions with us saying, hey, this is being very successful. Are you able to help bring Hope is Rising to my nation? But
Yeah.
the focus is not really to say we have to do this. Sometimes God allows you to just do it at one place, and then
So
other
true.
people do it. So we are very cognizant of that. We don't
So
hold the
true.
key to anything. So it doesn't mean that it has to be us, but God's
Yeah.
using us for this season, for this country at this moment.
Excellent. True. So true. I know the music ministers who's going to be there. They represent a very international group as well. If you want to share some more about who will be there on the night, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, you know, we're having a lot of folks asking about getting on, and of course, we time is limited and everything else.
Yeah.
But one of the folks who's coming on is Sherwin Gardner, who has the huge song that's being
Yeah.
downloaded all over the world. I think it's probably one of the biggest downloads, the Blessing song, and
Yeah.
it's being sung in bars. It's being played in bars. It's being played in parties. It's being played
Mhm.
in youth conventions. It's being played in churches all across. He's coming in to be one of our main artists that night. So if you notice, I have not talked about artists for all these minutes we spoke, and I
Yeah.
wanted to make that shift where a lot of people who are looking for a crowd is saying, I'm going to have this guy, I'm going to have that guy.
Yeah. Like
Well,
crowd
no,
sellers.
we're not promoting an artist with a concert. We're
Right.
promoting a spirit of revival. And I'm
Amen.
instructing these guys who are going to be singing, I want them to worship that night.
Mm.
I'm not looking for a bangalang
No hype. It's not a body hype.
hype. It's we have a lot of people doing that, and that's fine. But that
Right.
night is serious business before God. So he'll be coming in, Emrand Henry, who
Yes.
you guys, if anyone watches our program, and also if you know anything about the Caribbean, he's one of the well-known
Oh,
gospel
yes.
artists. He is my worship leader. He's going to be
Okay.
there, and then one or two guys in the Caribbean is asking about coming, so we'll see how that works. If there are artists from the Caribbean that wants to come in, and they could give their time, and it'll be a great moment of saying I was there. I wasn't hired to do a concert. I came because I wanted to experience revival.
Right.
I invite you, and I would love to have you all across the Caribbean, or even if this thing is
Excellent.
seen anywhere else, I encourage you, just come, book a flight, and get in there. And so in Guyana, we're going to have the top guys there. We're going to have Samuel Midas. He's well known in the
Yes.
Caribbean. We're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
have
Very popular in Trinidad as well.
very popular. He's probably one of the most popular gospel artists in the Caribbean. We're going to have
Yeah.
Timothy Roberts. He's an up and coming Sam Midas. He's like just he's following that footsteps. Great singer, great worshiper. Psycho, another top, well known in Guyana. So at least those three plus more. There are going to be some worship leaders and everything else. So it's going to be a time of worship, time of prayer, a time of
Mm.
intercession, a time of proclaiming we're leaders. Let's say it's the head of. We don't have Pawi in Guyana. We have like Assemblies of God or Full God. So let's say the head of Assemblies of God speaking for 5 minutes into the nation through this media that I'm here, and I encourage my people and the people of Guyana to come
Yeah.
together. This is a prayer event that has nothing to do with the denomination. It has everything to do with God that we preach about and the revival that has come to Guyana, and not
Yes.
the revival that's coming, the revival that's here tonight. And so, because sometimes we have to understand when God's doing an awakening, it's not for next year. God's sometimes doing an awakening right in front of us, and we
Oh, yeah.
can't find it, we can't see it. So we've got to celebrate those pockets of revival. I mean, even in our church, I had some folks who were preaching at our church this weekend, and they said, they looked at our church and say, "Man, you have two services now. We had one service a year ago." And look at the people who are coming by the thrones and by the many and everything. And he says, "This is revival. People must see
Mm.
it and know it. This is not an empty place. God's blessing this place." So he came and said that about our church. So it kind of spoke to me that even when we do this in Guyana, stop saying God send it. That night, God's going to show up, and we're going to say,
Yeah.
"You're here, God." And
Yeah.
so same thing for Trinidad, and the same thing for St. Lucia and Jamaica and Bahamas, wherever's watching, that there are going to be pockets of revival that God's bringing to your nation. I want you to celebrate that. And if you need
Yeah.
me to be a spokesman for your pockets of revival, I'm glad to help do that. But we want to spread this thing should be spreading like wildfire through the Caribbean. Revival is come, and we're celebrating it.
Excellent. Excellent. And even you shared earlier on, I thought about faith as well, right? Because we have to show up with an expectation, having faith in what the Lord will do. So really, really excellent. Really want to say hats off to you and the team, and really just happy to know what is happening in Guyana and through your church and through your supporting networks. So for those listening, once more, it's called A Call to Prayer and Worship, happening on May 9th, 2025 from 12 a.m. for 24 hours. And if you are interested, you are free to go register. Tell us the website again, Pastor.
Yeah, hopeisrising.live. Hopeisrising.live. And so
Excellent. Thank you.
it's 24 hours of prayer remotely all across the world, remotely all across Guyana, but in person, 2,000 people are going to, as long as you register now. So everyone could register to pray. That's fine. Unlimited, millions, thousands, but only 2,000 are we able to put in there from 5 right on to 11 o'clock. There'll be the people who are going to see it, experience it in person, and say, "I know I was there." So I want to encourage people, get in and register. The seats are very limited. The way we're hearing, a lot of people want to come, thousands. And as I said, people are asking me, "Can we move it to a stadium?" And I said, "No, this is a convocation of prayer, and we're going to keep it that way." And I'm not saying we won't, but who knows? But that's where we are feeling God's leading us to stay right now.
Yeah, excellent. Pastor Persaud, thank you so much for speaking with us today on Inside the Industry. I am just really moved by how much work you guys are doing, and I know our viewers are excited. Looking forward to this initiative that's happening very, very soon. Also, it's great because now we have some time to prepare. Persons can buy their flights, they can make their arrangements to get there on the day. So it's really excellent that we are preparing in advance for this event. And so once again, thank you so much for speaking with us. And of course, Caribbean Gospel TV is very happy to support, and we will be happy to be covering the event in any capacity. So be looking out, viewers, for more of this event. And of course, feel free to tune in. You can learn more of Pastor Persaud Monday to Fridays, 8 a.m. via Hope is Rising. Thank you for speaking with us. Do have a good one, Pastor.
God bless you. Thank you so much, Soraya. God bless you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for looking at Inside the Industry here on Caribbean Gospel TV. Signing out. Bye-bye.
A powerful movement is coming to shift Guyana, the Guyana we know as the breadbasket of the Caribbean. It's the land of many waters. It's the land of 6 races, all unified under God. Hope is rising, a call to prayer, a celebration of unity and peace and God's grace on all Guyana. Hope is Rising is returning after many years and will feature global sensation Sherwin Gardner and Emrand Henry. along with top Guyanese gospel artists and musicians.
These things they are making me stronger, but I come to you with my arms wide open. If my pillow could speak, it would tell you how I will.
You're invited to Hope is Rising, a global 24-hour prayer culminating with an evening of worship and praise with Christian leaders standing together on May 9th at the National Cultural Center. All tickets are free and registration is required. Seats are limited, so book now. Christian leaders, gospel artists, churches, and people of Guyana from all regions. We urge you to come together to celebrate and pray to God for this great nation. Hope is rising, and God is pleased.